to the Mindset Michelle TV show. We're so super excited for you to be joining us today, and super excited that you're going to be hearing some more fascinating and exciting insights into how to create a successful mindset and some tools and suggestions from yet another expert in a very different field again. So today's guest is the fabulous Brandon Leibowitz. Hello, Brandon.
Hi, thanks for having me on today.
It's lovely having you all the way from the lovely LA joining us today. It actually makes a rhyme, doesn't it? All the way from LA. So Brandon, for those of you that aren't aware of who he is, he's the founder and owner of SEO Optimizers, which has been running for about 15 years now. And SEO Optimizers, there's lots of different terms that we'll be throwing around, and I'll try to explain as we go through today, because organic and traffic and this and that are different words and different things that not necessarily everybody may hear, understand or know about, but we'll keep bringing it back to that focus on that mindset for success. And for those of you that aren't aware of this area, it's very much about marketing and helping businesses to grow, and we'll be bringing it back as well into that mindset to support businesses to grow using SEO, all the way with SEO. I'm going to keep laughing at that now, but Brandon, do you want to share with people a little bit more about yourself and your background?
Yeah, I first got involved with digital marketing in 2007, got my degree in business marketing, and one of the first jobs I got out of college was helping out a company with their digital marketing, which I didn't really know much about it. They didn't know much about it either. They learned alongside with me, taking me to like different classes and workshops, and just learn. And this was back in 2007, about different ways to get traffic, and just kind of realized that everyone's probably gonna have a website in the future. SEO is a way to get free traffic. There's a lot of different ways to get traffic, like social media, running paid ads, email marketing, TV, radio ads, all that stuff works. But SEO is just a way to get free traffic. So that's what I focused on over the years, working at different advertising agencies, different mom and pop shops, and everything in between. And right now I have my own company where I mainly help people get that free traffic from Google.
And for those of people that don't know what traffic is, because they think of cars going down the street, do you want to explain briefly what is traffic when you're talking about SEO and optimizing?
So when you search on Google, you'll see ads at the top. Those are all paid ads, but right below the ads are the organic, the free listings. There's 10 websites that are listed on that first page of Google. So the goal of SEO is trying to get you on the first page of Google and the 10 organic free listings. And if someone clicks onto that and they go to your website, that's a visitor. That's a person, that's traffic going to your website. So the goal is to get people going to your website, essentially.
Fabulous. And this is an interesting area, because I loved how you described you finished your marketing studies at college, and you grew and you learned about this new area of marketing with the company, and they took you to the training courses. What was it about that background that you were passionate about, or you grew to love while you were doing it?
Well, I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit, so being able to be your own boss and just pick up freelance clients here and there really drew me in, because that was a nice perk, is that I could just go to pretty much any local business or any business and reach out to them and be like, hey, do you want to rank at the top of Google? Like maybe I was having somebody fix my car, and I could reach out to that mechanic and be like, hey, do you want to rank at the top of Google for a mechanic near me or a mechanic in whatever city? And was just able to pick up clients here and there. And that really intrigued me. That's really one thing that drew me in. Also, just Google's constantly changing. So it's kind of like a game. It keeps it interesting. It's not the same thing over and over again, which is always a good thing, not doing the same tasks, but really just trying to figure out Google is always kind of interesting.
It's a bit like a game, isn't it? Trying to stay one step ahead of how they keep changing the goalposts of that game. And similar to a game, I'm guessing that as you studied at university or studied at college, as it's called there, and grew more and more in your profession and in what you were doing, your idea then of what success might mean and what success meant to you in building your own career, firstly through the advertising agencies and then as an entrepreneur. So what does success mean to you now?
I would say success just, well, for me, it was being able to quit my job and focus solely on my own business. So that was one of the biggest successes, is just being able to really go from working at an advertising agency full time to being able to be my own boss and sustain myself and have enough clients I built up over the years where I was comfortable enough to take that leap and make it really be where it's at today, where it's successfully growing month per month and just being able to just build that business over time.
And I think that this is a great story of, finishing college, getting a skill set, working in some organizations to expand that skill set, but then seeing and understanding that your passion was around that entrepreneur side and having the opportunities to talk to the guy fixing your car or talk to different people and explain to them how you can help them with your unique skill sets. In the show, we talk a lot about mindset and building that mindset for success. So what sort of suggestions would you have for helping people to similarly look at the success they may have had already in their lives and keep building that mindset?
Yeah, just try to look at positive things that are going on and just look at all the good stuff that's been happening and growing, and just kind of try to not focus too much on the negative and just learn from it, learn from mistakes or anything that you've done in the past, but just trying to grow and be in a learner's kind of mindset, being open, receptive to new ideas, new ways of doing things that might seem a little strange, but it's worth trying it out, testing it out, because you never know what's going to work, what's not going to work. But just, I would say, being open to new ideas and really testing things out, not just believing everything you read, but trying it out, seeing what works, what doesn't work, and just continuously tweaking and testing from that stuff.
I like that concept of that learner's mindset that you're sharing there around testing things out. A lot of organizations and people will have been hearing about digital transformation recently and agile and this and that, and a lot of, again, buzzwords or terms that get thrown around. And a lot of the success in those areas comes from that learner's mindset, starting with that learner mentality. And I think whether you're working in an organization or working for yourself, that learner's mindset is going to become even more important with the changes to technology and with the changes with societal elements as well, to be able to keep reinventing what you're doing and how you're doing it in a similar way to what you were doing, wasn't it, Brandon?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because if you're not open to it, you're just going to be stuck in that one spot. So you got to just try new things out, see what's out there, because you never know until you try it out. But if you're not open to it, then you're not going to see that maybe there's a better way to do it, better strategy, better product or service offering that you could give to your clients. But you just got to just be receptive to new ideas and new suggestions that people may have.
And what else do you think around building your own mindset? Were there things to do with like exercise that you did or groups of people that you joined? What types of things did you do to keep building what was essentially at the time a very unknown area? So how did you keep, positive about, well, what worked today actually doesn't work tomorrow because Google changed the rules again? So how did you keep that positive focus and that positive mindset going?
I'm just trying to do the right things, because with SEO, Google changes every single day, but they're really just trying to clean up spam. And people that have gamed the system, found loopholes. I mean, every once in a while, they'll do a big update saying, like, if your website's not optimized for mobile, or if you have duplicate content on your website, you're going to penalize you. But most of the time, it's really just cleaning up little like hacks that people find. So as long as you're doing everything normal, that seems ethical, not doing any shady kind of weird stuff. If you read Google Webmaster Guidelines, will kind of tell you what they're looking for, what they're not looking for. Just got to take everything with a grain of salt, because it is Google. They only care about making money. They don't care about SEO. They have to have SEO because if their page was just full of ads, you're going to go on Bing or Yahoo or another search engine. So it's just really trying to follow the best practices. And for the most part, you don't have to worry too much about those updates. But nobody really knows what they're updating. They don't really tell you. Sometimes they'll tell you, but most of the time it's kept top secret. So it's just kind of testing, saying, did something happen? Did I see a jump in my rankings, or did I see a decline in my rankings? What's going on? Trying to piece that puzzle together, because they don't really want you to know for the most part.
So in a day-to-day or a week-to-month sense, does it feel like a bit of a game that you're playing with, understanding what tactics they're changing and using, even though you understand that the tactics may be to stop spam and stop more unethical kind of things? Does it still in an everyday sort of sense feel more like a game of guessing what they're up to?
Not so much of a guessing, because you kind of know some things that they're looking for, some things that they're not, but overall their algorithm, that's the part that no one knows how that works. That one is kept top secret. So try to figure out their algorithm. No one knows how that works, but we don't really care about how Google works. We just care about who's on that first page of Google, how much SEO have they done, and how can we do a better job of it? Because if we're trying to beat Google, that's going to not really be possible, unfortunately, because Google changes every single day. But if we're just trying to beat the people on that first page of Google, that's going to be a lot more obtainable.
Yeah, and I guess from that mindset side of it, where business owners or people working in roles supporting businesses to become on that first page and to get the higher rankings with Google, I'm also interested in that mindset where, like we're saying, you might do all the right things and think that you're doing the right activities and ticking all the boxes, compliance boxes, whatever they might be, but still struggling. So what advice do you have, or what do you say to people that, may end up spending this, because this, from what I understand, can take time, say 3 to 6 months actually experimenting to find out what works best in promoting their business or in promoting the company that they're working for, in helping them to get through that day in or week in, month in sort of journey to getting more successful?
Just patience is probably a big part of it, and not getting discouraged when you don't see those rankings right away, because it takes time. SEO is not immediate, so you have to build it up and build it up, and over time you'll get those rankings. But a lot of people just get discouraged. They don't see that traffic coming in and they just think it's not working, where SEO, unfortunately, is not an immediate thing. If you want immediate traction, you run paid ads, but if you're trying to do SEO, it's more of a long-term game where you have to build it up, build that trust up, and continuously build that trust up, because if you just stop, Google's not going to think you're relevant anymore. So you have to keep showing Google that you are a relevant website that's related to what people are searching for, and that you offer a good product or service and good content on that site. But just being patient and not getting discouraged, because it does take some time, unfortunately.
And there's an interesting element to all of this as well around influencers and that influencer market that, we see more and more through TikTok or somewhere like that, where people and their personal brand become quite a big brand in itself. And how, again, for more everyday people or people that want to be a big brand like some of those bigger influencers, what would you say to them that, in terms of keeping that mindset around the success will come, it's about just working it? What sort of suggestions would you give to them?
Just try to learn. Well, talked about learning already, but just be dedicated, be a hard worker, and just be ready to kind of grind it out, because it does take time. You're not going to just instantly, sometimes people go viral, but that doesn't happen all the time. So it's not just instantaneous growth. It takes that time and that perseverance and just pushing through and just doing the things that unfortunately most people don't want to do, is sitting there reading all these blog posts or testing things out and waiting around for weeks or months to get the results, because you can make all these changes on the website, but it's not going to be immediate. So it's just kind of a waiting game to seeing how Google works, or how Google is receptive to the changes that you've made, and if they're going to move you up higher, or they're to keep you stagnant, not move you up, or what's going to happen, because you never know until you try it out and test it out. But definitely just being open to all that.
And with your like community in the marketing space and in that marketing field, given that people don't necessarily always understand what SEO or traffic, like we were saying at the beginning, how do you personally keep a positive mindset about what you're doing and what impact you're doing has for the people, not necessarily the businesses, but for the people that you're working with your clients?
Yeah, no, definitely want to track everything using different tools like Google Analytics can show you what's working, what's not working, and that gives you all the data statistically, just or all the data right there is presented to you so you can make statistically informed decisions about what's working, what's not working, but just again, kind of being open to reading that data and trusting it, because sometimes you're gonna be like, this doesn't make sense. Why is this product getting all this traffic, but nobody's buying it? Or why is this page that doesn't get any traffic is getting the most sales? Or why are people leaving quickly? It's going to show you all this information that we could help kind of grow and build that site out more optimized for Google and for people, and just try to see what's out there, what's going to work.
And I guess that's a big part of it for you, that it's about the data, and you've got kind of like this great big jigsaw puzzle where you're moving different bits of it to change the rankings on the page and change Google's interpretation of people's websites, etc. But I'm interested in what passion or what joy that might bring you in your work, because the data is one element of it, but people aren't motivated by data and they're not passionate about data. They're passionate about helping other people, they're passionate about money, they're passionate about different things. What do you think are some of the things that have helped you be passionate and help your clients be passionate?
Well, just trying to help them grow and take them to the next level as a business, helping them avoid spending money on ads and just watching them just grow as a business. Because once you get to that first page of Google, that traffic really comes in and you get to these sales or leads increasing significantly once you get to that first page. So it's always nice to help businesses grow, watch them get to that next level, and just helping them succeed and really help them try to save some money so they could spend that money on other things, maybe some other more products or building a bigger factory or opening up another location or whatever it is. But just really helping these businesses grow brings me the most joy.
And I guess as an entrepreneur yourself, that, we've been talking this week about discipline and motivation and purpose and the why. What would you think of as your why for what you do? Is it you're helping people to grow their business and to save money, but what is the why for you in all of that?
The why would be to have that freedom to be my own boss, set my own hours, be able to work when I want to work, not when I want to, or avoid it when I don't want to, even though I work much more than I did, even when I worked full time at advertising agencies and things like that. Comes way more work, but the flexibility of being your own boss and being able to set your own hours is the best part. Being able to kind of just pick up and work wherever you want, as long as you have access to the internet. For what I do, that's also one really nice part about it, is that flexibility and freedom to just kind of pick up and go anywhere.
And I really hear that, and I can see that. You're calling from LA, the home of the free and the brave, and all of that, and that very freedom's very important to many people, especially people that do entrepreneurial work, where it is longer hours than if you were in a paid employment, but it's also more flexible, like you're saying, and so there's the freedom and the flexibility versus a lot more work and a lot more days and hours of work. Where do you see yourself going with that, and where do you see that you keep doing things to keep that focus on success? What sort of things do you do to help keep you focused when your SEO rankings going here and there and Google's just not playing ball? What sort of things do you do each day to help you keep that focus on where you're going?
Just try to have a game plan for what I'm planning to do that day. or what I want to work on, what projects I want to work on, what testing sites out that I might want to test things out on, playing around with, but just trying to kind of, I mean, every day is different. So it's not just doing the same thing, but just trying to adapt and adjust. If things aren't working, then trying to figure it all out, restructure it, read some articles, blogs, join some Facebook groups, forums, and try to get other people's perspectives and point of views to see if they're picking up on any similar patterns or trends that might be emerging at that time that you could just tap into and try to figure out what's not working, and just how to fix it, essentially. But it is kind of like being a detective. You don't really have a roadmap or a guide. You just kind of have to just go at it and play around.
I really like that word, and I think that word encapsulates what I was hearing early on as well, about earlier in your career, where you left college and you're working with a company, and you were all like detectives trying to work out how to, work this SEO system, how to do this, how to do that. And I think that that's very true with even now. Because what I hear is that you're working in a lot of uncertainty, and you're working with what on one hand is great because it's a lot of flexibility, but it's not like you're going in every day and doing the same thing. And so, like that great detective, you're actually unearthing more information and more bits. And this is part of how or what is success to you, and keeping that successful mindset. I couldn't imagine you, for example, being in an office doing the same thing day in, day out. That's kind of the opposite of what I'm hearing. Really, passion is your passion around being the detective, that flexibility, and then working through what needs to be done each day as it comes up.
Yep, just trying to be that detective and just trying to reverse engineer it and see what works, what doesn't work, and trying to piece that puzzle together.
And that unraveling things to kind of understand how it works and how it doesn't work, was that something that you were always interested in from when you were even a child growing up?
Yeah, I think so. Growing up, I would always like to take things apart, see how they were built. I don't know if I was always the best at putting it back together, but taking things apart was something I liked to do as a kid. So I always had that curiosity of how things worked and wanted to learn more about that.
And you went into marketing. So what was it about marketing and that pulling things apart? Was there something in, how are they selling to me? How am I being influenced as a consumer to buy? Was there something in that you were interested in, like a detective as a kid, in how that all worked?
I'm not sure if that was why I went into marketing. Marketing, I think I just wanted to do more business, just entrepreneurial, anything that I could be my own boss. So marketing was just something I thought would be fun, with like copywriting or doing graphic design and things like that. But I'm not sure if it was part of that. Might have been a little bit of it, but I feel like maybe I might have wanted to be more like an engineer building stuff then. But I do like still building stuff, taking things apart. It's always interesting trying to see how things work.
And the other word I keep hearing there is that creativity. So there is like the pulling it apart and then putting it back together, the engineering side. But then as you were talking about the graphic design and the copywriting, that's the creativity side. And I can see how you perhaps didn't end up building bridges, but you've been building like websites and SEO, because that creativity is constant. From what you're saying with the detective part, it's constantly there. You kind of understanding and analysing your data, and then being creative in the solutions all the time, which sounds absolutely wonderful. Are there other suggestions and ideas that you have for people watching about how they can also keep building that successful mindset?
Just being consistent is probably the biggest thing. Not giving up, not getting discouraged, just working at it, being open-minded to new things, but really just being ready to just work hard, because it's not, I mean, sometimes you get the immediate results, but most of the time it's going to take that time, that effort that you got to put in there initially to build it up, build that foundation, and then kind of let it sit back and let it go on its own with you monitoring it. But initially you got to put that time and effort in.
And I've heard you mention that a couple of times around putting in the time and putting in the effort. What did that feel like as you were going through that? Do you feel like there were times where you felt like it was a bit hard and you needed to kind of self-talk to keep going?
Sometimes it'd be tough when you work full time, then you're working after work or before work or on weekends. So it does take up time, but just having that balance, because when you do freelance work, you can pick and choose when you want to work. So that's the nice thing, is that I'm just working 10 extra hours every single day after work, or I mean, sometimes I'll work a little bit before work, maybe like 30 minutes at lunch, 30 minutes after work. So it breaks it up and it makes it more manageable, easier to digest, not just a big chunk of your day getting taken out.
And I think that that's a great way of explaining, and we might not have made it as clear before, but when you first started your business, you were still working full time for somebody, and you moved over into your business in a gradual process, and that's a wonderful way of helping people to manage, that time commitment. And I think you so beautifully and wonderfully understood that it was about that flexibility. And if I was to venture around, it was the flexibility and that goal that you were aiming for that helped you to keep with that dedication to work before work, after work, and when you had the time to do things. And it does take, a certain type of mindset to be able to set up a plan and a goal like that and then work amongst life. And I really do want to applaud you, because you were working around life, but you kept going and you got there and you set up SEO optimizers, and 15 years later, here we are, and you're now full-time, and it's fabulous. It's following those types of dreams and goals that we were part of the reason for the show, is to keep encouraging people to do that. So if people wanted to get hold of you and to talk to you more about SEO and that whole magic crystal ball that you work in, what's the best way that they can get hold of you?
Yeah, so anyone that wants to learn more or reach out, they can, I create a special gift for them on my website. If they go to SEOoptimizers.com, that's SEOoptimizers.com/gift. They can find that there with my contact information. And I've done a lot of other classes that I've thrown up there. And also, if they want a free consultation, I'm happy to dive into their site, give them some feedback, what's working, what's not working, and they can book some time on my calendar directly there.
That's wonderful. And what a fabulous gift that you're offering people. For those that know that have a website and know what SEO is, that's an amazing gift to get a free checkup of your website and see also the free training materials that Brandon's got on offer. One of the final questions I love to ask people is around what advice that they might give to their younger self. Now, when I look at you, I think your younger self is a 10-year-old, because you look very young. I'm not sure how old you are, but you look very young. But what advice might you give to your younger self?
For business, I would say getting a mentor would be something really helpful that's helped me grow over the years and learn, and probably save a lot of time and headaches from learning from their mistakes and trying to avoid what didn't work for them, or focusing on what has worked for them. But getting a mentor is something that's really helped out for myself, and I recommend that to pretty much anyone. That doesn't matter if you're trying to start a business or transition careers, but mentors could help out a lot, pretty much with almost every aspect of life.
And in your personal side of things, what advice might you give to your younger self?
Just not to care so much about what others think, and just live your life and enjoy things, and not just have that ego talking to you all the time, and just try to enjoy life more and not overthink everything, because everyone seems to be overthinking things. And if we could just get that voice and turn it off, I think that might help out a lot.
Yeah, I hear you, and that's wonderful advice to give, turning off that internal voice and just getting on with enjoying life and living life. And so thank you so much for coming on the show today, Brandon. It's been a real pleasure having you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on today.
Wonderful. And to all of our wonderful, wonderful viewers, I thank you all again for watching the show and for hearing, sometimes there's some interesting guests like SEO today, and the topics may be a little bit more specialized, but meeting these amazing specialists in these different areas, I hope that you get to see how that successful mindset and building that successful mindset can help you in your life. But for now, from my heart to your heart, be great, be fabulous, and be you.